Today at 1, a long-awaited report into cricket in England and Wales finds racism, elitism and misogyny are widespread and deep-rooted. The investigation has made 44 recommendations, including that the England and Wales Cricket Board makes an unreserved apology for its failings.
Racism, sexism, class-based discrimination and elitism are widespread and deep-rooted, and it goes to show that the culture in cricket is rotten.
English cricket chiefs say they'll use this moment to reset cricket. Also in the programme. The nurses' strike in England is set to end. The latest vote on action fails to meet the required threshold. The former Health Secretary Matt Hancock has appeared in front of the COVID inquiry. He admitted the UK was underprepared for the pandemic.
I am profoundly sorry for the impact that had. I'm profoundly sorry for each death that has occurred.
President Putin addresses Russian military leaders following the mutiny by Wagner rebels. He told troops they had stopped a civil war. And new artificial intelligence technology which cuts waiting times for radiotherapy is to be offered to all NHS trusts in England at cost price.
Coming up on BBC News, could this be the transfer tussle of the summer? Manchester City rival Arsenal as they also bid for Declan Rice, £90 million, but West Ham want more.
Good afternoon and welcome to the BBC News at 1. A long-awaited independent report into the state of cricket in England and Wales says racism, sexism, classism and elitism are widespread within the game. The Independent Commission for Equity in Cricket has delivered its findings following a 2-year investigation. It heard from more than 4,000 people, with 50% saying they'd experienced discrimination in the game, although that figure was much higher amongst minority groups. With more, here's our sports editor, Dan Rowan. Dan, thank you very much. Strike action by nurses at the Royal College of Nursing will not continue after the union's ballot of its members in England failed to achieve a mandate. While the majority of members voted to continue to take industrial action, the numbers taking part in the vote were too low for it to count. Well, joining me now is our health correspondent, Sophie Hutchinson. Sophie, tell us more about what's happened. OK, Sophie, thank you very much indeed. The former Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, has said he's profoundly sorry for each death caused by the COVID pandemic. He was giving evidence at the UK COVID inquiry, and our correspondent, Ellie Price, was listening to the evidence. Well, joining me now is our health editor, Hugh Pimmon. Hugh, what have we learnt from Matt Hancock's appearance today? Hugh, thank you very much. Russian President Vladimir Putin has been addressing military leaders in Moscow's Cathedral Square for the first time since the weekend's aborted mutiny by Wagner Group mercenaries. He thanked the troops from the army, security services and National Guard, saying they had stopped a civil war in Russia. Well, our Russia editor, Steve Rosenberg, is in Moscow. And Steve, what has the president been saying? Steve, thank you very much. Well, the movements of the Wagner Group leader, Yevgeny Prigozhin, have been closely watched since that attempted mutiny on Saturday. Well, his plane has been seen in Minsk, the capital of Belarus, where he has been ordered to live in exile. Our correspondent Nick Beak from BBC Verify has been examining the details. That's Nick Beak there from BBC Verify. The inquest into the death of Nicola Bulley has been hearing more evidence this morning. Ms Bulley's body was found in the River Wyre in Lancashire more than 3 weeks after she vanished. Well, Danny Savage joins us now from Preston Coroner's Court. And Danny, what evidence has been heard today? Danny, thank you very much indeed. The time is 18 minutes past 1. Our top story this afternoon. A long-awaited report into cricket in England and Wales has found that racism, sexism and class-based discrimination is widespread within the game. And coming up, promotions on unhealthy foods are set to be restricted in Wales under plans to tackle obesity and diabetes.
Coming up on BBC News, we'll have the team news from Lords as England pick Josh Tongue, the pace bowler, coming in for Moeen Ali for the second Ashes test against Australia.
new type of artificial intelligence which helps cut waiting times for cancer patients is to be offered to all NHS trusts in England at cost price. The AI saves doctors time by helping work out exactly where to direct therapeutic radiation beams, which kill cancerous cells while sparing as many healthy ones as possible. Kate Lamble reports. Well, for more on this story, head to BBC 2 at 7 p.m. tonight to see a live Newsnight special marking 75 years of the NHS. It'll be available on iPlayer afterwards. The UK risks being starved of energy, according to a major oil and gas producer in the North Sea. The chairman of Ithaca Energy has told the BBC a combination of volatile tax regime and Labour's promises to ban all new oil and gas exploration were deterring investment and jeopardising the UK's future energy security. Well, the chairman has been speaking to our business editor, Simon Jack, who's with me now. Simon, I thought that North Sea oil supplies were already running out. OK, Simon Jack, thank you very much. Supermarket executives have been questioned by MPs over why food prices are still rising as some wholesale costs are falling. 4 of the UK's biggest grocers, Tesco, Sainsbury's, Asda and Morrisons, were in front of a parliamentary committee examining the cost of a weekly shop. Our business correspondent Emma Simpson is here. Emma.
Thanks, Maryam. Yes, MPs have been grilling senior supermarket executives as scrutiny increases over the soaring cost of food. Here's the backdrop. The official stats show that food prices rose 18.4% in May to ease the pressure on shoppers. Maryam.
Emma, thank you very much. Meal deals with a high fat, sugar or salt content will be restricted in Wales under government plans to tackle obesity and diabetes. Temporary price drops and multi-buy offers on the unhealthiest foods are set to be banned under new laws to be rolled out across Wales in 2025. Hal Griffiths has this report. Very impressive. Now, time for a look at the weather with Chris Fawkes.
Hi, Maryam. We had some beautiful sunrise weather watcher pictures sent to us earlier this morning. Scenes like these from the Isle of Wight, and might be some more pretty spectacular red across the northwest of the UK. That's how things are looking. Maryam.
Chris, thank you very much indeed. And that's the BBC News at 1. You can keep up to date with all the latest developments on the BBC website. But the news continues here on BBC 1, as now it's time to join our colleagues across the nations and regions for the news where you are. Goodbye.
Hello, welcome to Sports Day with me, Hugh Ferris. Ben Stokes says sorry. His bosses at the ECB do the same. The damning report into widespread discrimination in cricket could be a seminal moment in the sport's history.
If it continues to think that, because some elements I'm afraid still do, that this is, isolated, pockets of discrimination, or they think it's just banter, then it's time for them to wake up.
England pick pace for Lords as Josh Tongue comes in for Moeen Ali for the second Ashes test. And could this be the transfer tussle of the summer? Manchester City join Arsenal in bidding for Declan Rice. Hello again, welcome along to Sports Day. English cricket has been accused of widespread racism, sexism, classism and elitism by a long-awaited and damning report. A 2-year investigation set up in the wake of global movements like Black Lives Matter and Me Too makes 44 recommendations to change what the chair of the commission called cricket's